Few people know that Hollywood's queen of romantic comedies, Meg Ryan, adopted a girl from China 16 years ago. Fewer still know that this adoption came about in the most unusual way. Meg won her in a lottery. Amazing, right? In this video, we'll talk about Daisy, the girl whose life and future were changed by the famous actress known for her iconic comedy films. And we'll find out what she looks like today. Let's get started! First of all, if you don't know who Meg Ryan is, here's a brief biography. Meg Ryan was born on November 19, 1961 in Fairfield, Connecticut, USA. She is the daughter of Harry Hyra, a well-known casting agent, and Susan Jordan Duggan, a former actress and teacher. Meg has two sisters, Dana and Annie, and one brother, Andrew. She is of German, Irish, and Polish descent. Her family moved to Bethel in 1974, and her parents divorced 2 years later. Meg adopted Ryan as her stage name, derived from her grandmother's maiden name. She graduated from St. Pius the Carl Elementary School in Fairfield, where her mother was a 6th grade teacher. While there, she was confirmed in the Catholic faith and chose Anne as her confirmation name. Meg also studied journalism at New York University. She made her acting debut in 1981 at the age of 20, playing Candice Bergen's daughter in George Cocor's Rich and Famous. Over time, Meg worked in various television series, including 3 years as Betsy Stewart Montgomery on As the World Turns. But it wasn't until 1986 that she caught the attention of Hollywood after appearing in Top Gun. 1 year later, she met her future husband Dennis Quaid during the filming of Inner Space. Meg shot to international fame in 1989 with the romantic comedy When Harry Met Sally. This movie established her as a leading figure in the genre. She's especially remembered for her famous scene in which she faked an orgasm in front of an astonished Billy Crystal, a classic moment set in a restaurant. Later, in 1993, her association with romantic comedies was solidified with Sleepless in Seattle. She has made very popular movies that have generated much discussion, like French Kiss or You've Got Mail, In the Cut, Against the Ropes, In the Land of Women, The Women, My Mum's New Boyfriend, The Deal, Serious Moonlight, City of Angels, Addicted to Love, When a Man Loves a Woman, The Presidio, and the list goes on. This woman has acted in about 42 movies. In 2015, she made her debut as a director with Ithaca, a film in which she also acted. Her most recent movie is from 2023, where she shares the screen with actor David Duchovny in the romantic comedy What Happens Later, which she also directed. As mentioned above, she married Dennis Quaid on February 14, 1991. They had a son named Jack Henry Quaid, who was born on April 24, 1992. Meg and Dennis divorced in July 2001 after a major controversy involving Meg for being unfaithful to actor Russell Crowe, her co-star in the 2000 film Proof of Life. During this time, her desire to have a second child grew stronger. She eventually adopted Daisy True, a child who came to her through a lottery. Yes, just like you heard. Meg Ryan revealed that the adoption process in China involves a lottery system and that her daughter was randomly assigned to her. However, Meg later said that Daisy came to her through destiny, not just chance. She believes that Daisy was already destined to be her daughter. In the past, Meg has expressed her feelings about Daisy with words such as, "Daisy's like a flower. She just keeps blooming and blooming." This comment reflects the meaning of the young woman's name, which translates to True Daisy in Spanish. Meg Ryan has also said, "Daisy has the most open, beautiful and honest face I've ever seen. I feel lucky again. Daisy has filled my home with happiness and love." Meg Ryan secretly battled with adoption agencies for months to find Daisy. In early 2006, Ryan finally returned home with her new and happy daughter. The actress picked her up at the US consulate in China after an 8-day stay there to finalize the adoption process. The adoption process in China has always been complex and interesting. One of the first requirements for a foreigner to adopt a child in this Asian country is to be between the ages of 30 and 50. Meg was 45 when she adopted Daisy, so she met this requirement perfectly. In addition, the requirement to have proven economic, social and mental stability was something the famous movie actress clearly had, and still enjoys. The stages of the adoption process include the same steps that most people would expect, such as the initial adoption application, USCIS, United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, approval, submitting the paperwork to China, child placement, travel and legal procedures, and finally returning to the US since it was an adoption from that country. The most interesting step is the child placement process. Adoptive parents do not meet the child until they arrive in China and are assigned a child through a purely random process, almost like a lottery. In China, however, they prefer to call it a systematic process rather than random. From that year on, the famous and successful queen of romantic comedies stepped away from the screen to devote herself to raising her beloved daughter, Daisy True. For many years, this task was combined with her role as a volunteer with CARE, an organisation that fights global poverty. Let's talk a little bit about Daisy True. She was born in China in 2005 and adopted by Meg Ryan in 2006 when Daisy was just a few months old. Her childhood was spent away from the media spotlight, and even as a teenager, she kept a low profile. Daisy grew up alongside her famous mother, mostly in New York City. Many media outlets and influential people have testified that Daisy received a very private and high-level education during her early years. Having grown up in a highly artistic and famous family environment, Meg Ryan decided from the beginning to keep her away from the cameras and to try to give Daisy as normal a life as possible. Despite the almost total discretion surrounding the life of Meg Ryan's adopted daughter, it is said that Daisy maintains a close connection to her native China and its customs. It's speculated that her mother has taken her to China several times for purely tourist purposes and to help Daisy connect with her roots beyond her American upbringing. Due to the extremely private nature of her life, it is also speculated that Daisy, at the age of 18, may currently be pursuing some intriguing university studies. Some say she may be studying visual arts, with possible interests in cultural anthropology, or even engaging in studies related to design or contemporary art. In her areas of development, it's believed that she is now exploring the world of documentary photography, while also developing creative digital projects and delving into her Chinese cultural heritage. Her personality is said to be creative. Although introverted, she is intellectually independent. She may be bilingual or even multilingual, speaking Chinese, English, Spanish and French. Inheriting the artistic sensibility of her famous mother, Meg Ryan, Daisy True's Chinese heritage is thought to be related to multicultural issues. All of this information is purely speculative. Some of it may be accurate, derived from analysis and observation by those who have seen her around New York City with her mother. What is certain is that Daisy grew up surrounded by luxury, wealth, fame, and success. Although she remains almost anonymous, it can be said that her mother has provided her with everything she needs to live a peaceful and tranquil life. Her upbringing was of a very high standard with unimaginable comforts. Daisy's focus and development in creativity has often been judged from the shadows. Her environment and direct artistic influences have led to speculation that Daisy draws inspiration from contemporary Asian and American artists, multicultural identity documentarians, new media photographers, and experimental autobiographical filmmakers. Much of the speculation revolves around her interest in photography. It wouldn't be far-fetched to imagine the 18-year-old Daisy today succeeding in her photographic experiments with the unconditional support of her accomplished mother, Meg Ryan. We imagine that Meg Ryan has kept her away from prying eyes in order to foster her personal development, allowing Daisy to decide in adulthood which path to take, whether to follow in the footsteps of her beautiful mother, or to choose a related or even completely different path. We know that every person is an independent individual, capable of making their own choices whenever and however they choose. In this way, Meg Ryan joins the ever-growing list of Hollywood mothers who adopted children as single mothers, such as Angelina Jolie, before she met Brad Pitt, Sharon Stone, Mia Farrow, Diane Keaton, Jodie Foster, or Callista Flockhart. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to see more of this kind of content. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.